Kanso Munamateeka Ssemakade Yesimbyewo okubeera President wa Law Society olwaleero akoze ebyafaayo wali emakirire babadde mu presidential debate oba mu kudebating okwaba beesimbyewo biki bagenda okukolera Uganda Law Society. Akubye omuggo njagala tutandike tubirabe ebigambo bwe biti.
Ssemakade to come and give Isaac, sorry, pardon me. Back on track. Okay, let's go back on track. Mr. Isaac, okay, we are back on track.
Back on track. Yengombo Isaac Ssemakade gyatambula nayo okubeera president wa Uganda Law Society ng'agamba nti amateeka ga Uganda oba ebyamateeka bya Uganda bikyali mu koloniyo we tukyali mu buwambe bw'abamusibira mu bbwa buli bye tukola tubikolanga bo lwaki tetuteekawo enkola eyaffe egwanidde omulembe guno nga si aba colonialists. So kyovula yatandise nti back on track tuddeyo tubire n'ebyaffe nga situkolera ku byabalala kyovula abantu kati bacamufu.
Mr. Isaac Ssemakade, the floor is yours for the next 10 minutes. Thank you very much.
Back on track. Back the table. Back on track. Back the table. A decorum Z. A humility Z. A gratitude Z. Back on track. Thank you very much, colleagues, for inviting me to this auspicious occasion. Dr. Sinje Kabumba, I wish I was saying my Lord Justice Sinje Kabumba, Dr. Patricia Tim Odom, I wish I was saying my Lord Justice Patricia Tim Odom. It gives me great pleasure to return to my alma mater and to participate in a Huripek event because Huripek made me when I was president of the Makerere Society. A long time ago, Dr. Professor Joe Lokonyango was director at the time. And he invited me to Huripek planning, and we set the tone for student activities for about 6 years. And Huripek has not disappointed since then. There are so many people in the audience that it would be unfair for me to start without introducing them. So I'll use much of my time to really introduce them. And I beg that some stand, some will come and join me. First and foremost, Dr. Chris Bazet, stand and give away. Please give away to the community. Dr. Chris Bazet returned from South Africa and picked me from legal practice and said, we want to bring legal activism in the classroom. We are starting PILAC, the Public Interest Law Clinic, and we are starting NetPIL, a bridge between students and practitioners. And I was his first director, chairperson for civil and political rights. And I insisted that I will not stop until the PILAC Center in Makerere is known for suing policemen and military men. Actions against the police and actions against the military. that is something that will give me great pride. And I saw Dr. Kabumba following the footsteps of Dr. Nalwayo, writing about the militarizing issue. So I know the knowledge is already there. My dear sister, Diana, Dr. Diana Ahumza, stand and give me a word. Diana and I were extremely competitive in law school. So I yielded space for her. Yeah, in academy, and she hasn't disappointed. My long-time client, Mwasa chairperson, Dr. Robert Kakuru. Thank you for coming. Dr. Kakuru. I worked with Dr. Kakuru in leading industrial action in January 2019. And he has come with a letter of appreciation, which I'll probably make public later. But I will read the last paragraph. We have read from the news that you are vying for the presidency of the Uganda Law Society. We encourage you to remain firm and strong in the fight for justice for the oppressed, especially employees. We plead for the future. This is very painful for me. Thank you very much. My parents are in the hall, and I would like my mom to come and share the space with me. And my dad also, Mr. Chamson. I also have Mama Yasi, but I don't see her. Why are women at the back, Yasi? What did I teach you? The Constitution has put women at the forefront. Mama Yasin and Yasin, they did a case against UCU. Not many parents allow us to do our work. Yasin was a bursary student, and Samuel was also a bursary student. And it was difficult to risk them through that process of justice. So much about what you see. So much about what you see in the judgments erases the contribution of people like Mama Yasi, because they allow us to give, agency, autonomy of clients in very risky situations to show faith and fidelity to constitutionalism and the rule of law. So I'm going to ask her to say something about how she understands the role of lawyers in the contemporary Uganda, about me. And I think she will use Uganda.
Ssemakade tefunaye ebbanga eddala. Era mwagala nnyo maze ntunda manda ebikolo. Naye mwana tubadde tubeera naye tulya naye. Buli mbeera yonna kitubeerera omwana amukoba n'amala emyaka ebiri nga tasoma ku yunivasite y'ekolo. Naye omwana oyambeererawo n'annyamba tesinza malayo. Era omwana oyo
Bannange abakyala abawala twabijja tutumbeera emabega atulwanyise nga ffe abakyala.
How many minutes am I left? 2 minutes. Colleagues, most of you, I realize you have followed our debate. My candidacy rests on a four-legged stool: decolonization, demilitarization, democratization, and digital transformation. It will be judged not by you. It will be judged by those who will be in this very pews in the year 2060, 40 years from now. We made that very clear. We are asking our colleagues at the bar to give us a mandate for a radical new bar, which will set the tone for how we view the role of law, lawyers, legal institutions, legal culture in a post-colonial Africa. Should we simply uphold and apply received law from England? Should we adjust it according to the demands of global Western order? Or should we use the law to find every way possible, every means possible, to ensure that every African in need of justice can access it promptly? This is the apex of achievement of African Legal Academy, and that's what it says here: to become Africa's premier law school that promotes social justice, rule of law, and development. My time is up. We shall talk more about that, but you know the horizon. You have seen the shining castle at the hill. I will leave you there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Candidate Ssemakade, for even keeping time. School of Law, Eurepec, good. Now we invite our
Thank you very much. Patricia, I can call you that, right? We are in some trenches. Yeah, time for this? 10 minutes. I will take less. I hope so. Let me start with the second question about my predecessor, to be. It is Dr. Solomon Bossa, Justice Solomon Bossa, who was president of the Law Society around 1993. And I think the first people at it. The legal aid scheme of Uganda Law Society, which is the beating heart of our, law society, is happy. She negotiated the Canadian Bar Association grant, which I think was the inaugural grant before the Norwegian Bar Association grant came in, and the rest of the presidents just, saw these wonderful developments that we've taken for granted. Lately, however, branches are being closed, and nobody is writing to how to do some money. Also, it's worth pointing out that when a woman was the president of Uganda Law Society, Justice Bossa wasn't defended. Not our greatest need. We read from the Observer that when a position opened up in one of the international courts of justice, please guide me, Dr. Kabonga, is it ICC or ICJ? ICC. when a position opened up in Uganda to present a jurist of impeccable credentials, the Judicial Service Commission wrote a very restrictive requirement that you must be present to present your credentials, present. Digital transformation. Madam Justice Bosa was out of the country, and this was intended purposely to lock her out. She sent an email, copied to the bar. Please, can you extend this by a few days so I can present my papers in person? The Judicial Service Commission, where we have 2 female representatives, stiletto representatives, wrote back and said, we will not be doing any extension of time. So she had to ask for table bangers to do what we do best and ensure that they receive those papers. And I thank the table bangers and the Observer for doing a great job. You can Google that article, it reads like a film. It reads like a film. How Justice Bosa went to the ICC. Really? This is how we reward our best talent? Pause and think about that. And I think many women don't know these stories. You're given the Nalungas as the role models. Where were they when Justice Bosa needed them? I want to stop there on the first question. For the second question, how many minutes survived? Oh, that's a lot. We have the Chiwanka problem. That is the singular, granular representation of what threatens the rule of law, democracy, and good governance in this country. A charlatan, a rascal with a PC, a robe, and a Twitter account access the most important office for these values, known as the Office of Attorney. I wrote what pretends to be a Kabumba-like essay. Who has read it? Because I have money to give. Students, who has read it? Students, who knows what I'm talking about? It's a shame, it's a shame, it's a shame. It's a shame. Who knows it? Who is Googling it? Okay, let's open the chat. Digital transformation. Yes. Yes, stand up and shoot quickly. Title. Wrong. Title only. No, you're part of my team. Colleagues, you can't even cheat. All right, let me give it to. Okay. All right, colleagues. It's called Yesimbyewo Kubwa is the wrong man for the wrong job. That was my Solomonic address to the bar. Just a week after he had been appointed. I suffered massive persecution after that article. But we were in a pandemic, and the pandemic means you think of only mortal danger, the end of days, the end of nights, the end of life. I owed it to Ugandans to warn them that you think you've seen worse. My colleague shoot us to be nice. You had seen nothing. I covered all ages and I said Chidwa Chwanka would be the one. So I will stop there. Is that a warning? Oh, 3 minutes. 4 minutes. The story of my persecution was private to me and my family only. I took a great risk to come back to this country in July to do a case that I couldn't hand over to anybody else. And while there, in the Supreme Court, some colleagues in the media informed their sources that we have seen Isaac for sure. For sure. The Rasta is in court. It's in court, so they whispered in my ear that some senior lawyers who want to talk to you to apologize for not having taken you seriously when you warned them about this charlatan. Chidwa Chwanka singularly threatens the independence of the judiciary. If you need Exhibit A, you have Farida Bukirwa. Chidwa Chwanka singularly threatens independence of the legal profession. Now, these are doctrinal concepts for which time isn't available. But I have done my best to use the limelight of this moment to sue Chidwa Chwanka personally for holding the office of Protectorate Attorney General instead of the Attorney General under Article 119, 1995 Constitution. That wisdom is only in this room. Outside that room, he has bootlickers, goodies, suck-ups, sissies, telling him he's the very best, and most of them are even gray-haired. So I want to stop here and say, I am standing for the President of Law Society to take a pulpit superior to his. Chidwa Chwanka, that dog won't hurt. Chidwa Chwanka, Attorney General, Chief Justice, DPP, bang the table, back on track. I am standing to bury Chidwa Chwanka.
Yes, thank you. Back on track. The questions are going to time to ask the question.
Bang the table, back on track. Chidwa Chwanka, bang the table, back on track. Chidwa Chwanka. Mr. Chipal, have you argued a case before the Supreme Court of Uganda before? Have you filed a case in a court of first instance? Adjudicate, win or lose, going to the segment, called Court of Second Instance, maybe Court of Appeal, up to the apex courts. Have you walked our justice journey in its fullness? That is my question.
Microphone is not part of that trial.
Thank you so much, Kanso Isaac, for that question. Have I argued any matter in a court of record? I'll begin with the Constitutional Court, since we are here on law, justice, and freedom. The Constitutional Court, I represented Honorable Justice Yirokamba Mwine in Honorable Justice Yirokamba Mwine versus Attorney General. Where we were contesting certain provisions of the Administration of Judiciary Act. I have filed a class action on behalf of the Basongora community. That is Amos Isimbwa and others versus Attorney General. There are ranchers who are deprived of their land by this government. They filed a constitutional petition, and as a result, they have been adequately compensated. That's in the Constitutional Court. In the High Court, again, I'm going to restrict my matters to those that touch on law, justice, and freedom. Internet service providers had an increment in their license fees, and we filed a matter in the Civil Division. It was Internet Service Providers Association of Uganda versus Attorney General. So that the increment in the license fees was going to inhibit the progress in our digital rights laws. And so many others I may not mention. There are so many women I've represented. I do not take on a case that conflicts with my value system. If I see someone is going to perpetrate abuse and he wants to use me as a conduit, I do not take on the case. I'll give you an example. I was approached by a lady, and the lady wanted to deny the father of the children access for the next 2 years, saying that the father should only visit the children once a year. It's something which could be done, but I restrained myself from taking on that case because it violated my value system. So for all the cases I've handled, they must appeal to the inner morality that I was talking about. In the Supreme Court, I have only worked there as a research officer.
Order. Yes. She still has 5 minutes. Kanso Isaac Ssemakade. Kanso Isaac. Kanso Isaac, Mr. Chikwabi still has 5 minutes to answer your question.
In the Supreme Court, there are works I contributed to that I am.
Say the name, 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 say the name. Honorable Kalanda Kafureka, Attorney General, at the Constitutional Court. My Lady Justice, Timate Bwa, who you claim to have taught you shit, you learned nothing. You learned nothing from her. She wrote, and I quote, democracy, rule of law, requires conflict. 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 Conflict, not collaboration. Conflict. Back on track.
Okay, back on track. We still have time. Back on track. Okay, can you please calm down?
Mr. Mbera wasn't listening. I told them don't go to court. Go to the president. He has all their answers. Guys, Mr. Mbera, wake up. Read the room. Smell the coffee. The courts are late. The judiciary is in crisis. Silence. The judiciary is dead.
And on that very point, on Monday was supposed to be hard. On Monday, this very Monday, we reached court. The justice was in his chambers, but he couldn't listen to us. He couldn't listen to us. So how can that be a functioning judiciary? We were there on time. So the judiciary was dead. Back the table. Back on track. The judiciary is dead. The dog went hard.
All hope is not lost. You need to organize, not under Article 28 or 126 of the Constitution anymore. You need to remember power to the people. Article 1, Article 3, and Article Aloiki. Which one is that article? What is the Aloiki article? Guys, is this Ssemakade? Dr. Kamundo, what has happened? Is this Ssemakade? What is the Aloiki article? What is the Aloiki article? What is the Aloiki article? You are not angry. You don't know how to protest. So you can't manufacture a protest solution. That place will change in a minute. If you attempt it. Where is my personal assistant? The gallant Makerelian, the tiger, a Victor Oye, a Mr. Kenya Oye. This gentleman is the only great seer amongst you. When we began writing about abolish LBC on the internet, he found all sisters, beans, and rotten tomatoes. Goodies. He fought them off. But he fought them off with style, diction, and great wit. And I told him, DM, you belong to a cabinet.
It's ironic that 2 years ago, when you came up with the entire concept of abolishing LDC, and I put the message in our class group, people are asking questions like, "Human, are you normal? Are you normal? What are you thinking? How do you abolish LDC?" That's how advocates are made. But then 2 years now, and they are in court, and they are crying. The judges can't listen to our case. Go to the president.
So, this guy, Yasin, has Yasin left? Yasin is part of our Violence Academy. Part of our agenda is to abolish LDC, abolish law council. Okay? abolish everything. Chase destiny. Chase what? These are laws of a colonial relics. These are colonial hangovers. They are not for you. They work for us. They will not work for you. Victor understood the message. First year there.
Kanso Ssemakade, 4 minutes left of your 10 minutes time. Answer that note.
Of the first time or the second time?
The first time, and given you 10.
There
will be another round of your question. I'm just reminding you.
All right. So, Mr. Ken understood. We sent him to spread the word. He brought back a report that they are not yet ready. So, what did we do? Waited until they were pigs for slaughter. There was. I have told my colleagues at the bar that LDC is an abattoir. Okay? It's a relic of an education institution. It is characterized by sexual harassment and suicide inducement. The center can't hold. There is so much. There is an entire PhD thesis. And the irony is the author of the PhD thesis sits atop the GTZ that you call LDC. So there you go, guys. Do you want answers from Jewashwanka? He gave you one brilliantly. What? He was all over it and all over the map, and none of you said that dog won't hunt. Except Aloikin, maybe. But she's confused by foreign interference. That is the only problem I have with Aloikin. Aloikin, she wants me to go awareness. But I sent my message to Jane that when she's ready for political class, I'll be magnanimous in receiving apology. So, the other questions, Harris, Mr. Munami, and Mr. Sewaya, I can combine all of you in one. First of all, Mr. Haruna, Mr. Munami gave you the answer. There has been a whole record of 10 years of stakeholder collaboration, and what has it brought? Chitesi Atel and Chitesi Chitesi. What caused that, you think? You think it was rebels? Rebels caused it. Did rebels cause Chitesi? Did rebels cause LBC, menace, and abattoir? No. Rebels are going to provide a solution. The solution. You may have answers. Mr. Harris, we have to take a generation. Come with me. We fought battle. We tell people battle. Tell them.
Battle. I first interacted with Legal Rainbow in my first year during the new presidential elections when the university administration had with immunity eliminated one of the candidates because they had perceived him as a rebel, as a tiger. That candidate was Bala David. We went to Kanso Ssemakade, and they did
at what time of the night?
at around midnight, and the race was remaining with only about 4 days. Kanso Ssemakade was able to get an injunction. And that's how the tiger in the name of Bala David Bwa was able to emanate. And the story. No, the right honorable speaker was speaking. Yes, so the people's people yeah, but in the government. Yes, but on a serious note, this gentleman is a man that works for the people. His campaign is rooted deeply in the jurisprudential questions of the day. I hope there are many 4th years here who are studying jurisprudence. we want a legal system that do work for Ugandans. 95% of the cases today are not heard in court because court is for a small class of people who afford court. And the opponents, as I perceive them, are those who are careerists who are only interested in the status quo, maintaining business as usual. But we need our mothers. We need our mothers, like the mother that you have seen sent to. We need our sisters. Everyone can, and your mother. Everyone. What Ssemakade is promising is that everyone should afford the law. Justice should be accessible for everyone. It should not be a privilege for just a few, but a right for everyone that is accessible for everyone. And the legal system as it is, the legal system as it is, it cannot deliver on that promise. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you.
So we have the answers, but I think you wanted to trick me.
Okay. Okay, so Kanso Ssemakade, you can take a break for now. We have another round of questions. Okay. Now we have another round of questions. Back on track. I've been forgotten the name, but those characters up there. Now, okay. Back on track. Yes. Now we'll have another round of questions for Kanso Chipalu. Yes. And let us also recognize the presence of Kanso Muchibi here, who heads at Law Development Center. And I think he has had with his own ears that Law Development Center is the Back on Track account might also have something for her in that kappa. Okay? Only lady was there to ask Kanso Ssemakade a question.
Excuse me, and to add on that, how, as a leader, how are you going to advocate for sexual reproduction, say, but also
I
advocate against it, and also added to, if your own supporters, if I may say, cannot let this question be put out, how do you expect to lead them in the right direction? And added to that, allegations. How do you answer to allegations that have been made against you on Twitter platforms that you are a sexual harasser you yourself? Thank you. Allegations that I may add.
Thank you. No, it is important.
Team Back on Track, please calm down. Let Kanso Ssemakade answer the questions. Yes.
I don't know the ladies' names, but I think they should join us here. If you want answers to Ssemakade, you have to stand close to him. Yeah. If you can't,
Kanso Ssemakade, it must be consensual.
no. Then I won't answer. Young ladies, you have seen the worst example of stiletto. These are baby stilettos. These are baby what? These are baby stilettos. These are baby goodies. These are baby sissies. These are baby suck-ups. This is very important. baby stiletto, see. That dog won't hunt. Baby stiletto. That dog won't. A baby stiletto. A allegation this. A allegation that. That dog won't hunt. You said that dog won't hunt. A allegation this. A allegation that. Weaponizing sexual harassment is how you erase yourself out of the bar. It will come as a shock to you that there are women who run organizations that get more funding for putting these ideas in your head. And some of you work in those organizations and you come to pollute other young women. When we formed a cabinet to abolish LDC, our motivation had been to respond to complaints of sexual, which had been channeled through the account of who?
The ladies.
Of who?
The stilettos.
Agatha Atuhi. She over-tweeted about sexual harassment at LBC. Mr. Victor Akena, witness number 1, come here and speak the truth. Give testimony. Give testimony. Give testimony. Pictures online.
When you
Okay, Kanso Ssemakade,
she held this.
5 minutes. Yes, but 5 minutes.
When you talk about abolishing LDC, we had our cabinet. We made our cabinet that had to spearhead. We had to spearhead abolishing LDC. We had Agatha Tuhaire. She was on our cabinet. Actually, I don't know why people call us misogynists, and yet we had a lady amidst us. We invited her, special invite to give power to our drive to abolish LDC. Our push. Yes.
What did you tell Agatha?
We told Agatha.
Did you agree with her?
We agreed to work together to abolish LDC, and we had a variety of. We told Agatha. We agreed with Agatha that the problem at LDC is not concluded zero down only to sexual harassment. You don't stop diarrhea by blocking the anus.
Let me tell you what he has forgotten, because me, I remember the minutes. We told Agatha, you end the conversation when you pollute community attitudes with words like sexual. You harden community attitudes against empowerment of women. They become untouchable. We seize them, we can put them in a box and leave them there. And then we move on and we leave them behind. There must be no reason to fear inviting Patricia to work together in battle. Is this sexual harassment? No! Is this sexual harassment? These goodies, foreign agents, are dangerous. We now know they receive money. We now know they receive money. So let me tell you very clearly.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Kanso Ssemakade Law ayagala bwa President bwa Law Society. Alright. Bwatu bw'ataddemu vibe nti back on track. Banga the table jikube paka lwe banaawulira bw'atyo debate yabwe webadde wano ku campus Makerere era nga ensonga zibadde za kutereeza by'amateeka mu ggwanga lya Uganda. Bagamba nti mu ggwanga lya Uganda amateeka mafu gafudde gaweddewo. Abasajja abali mu ntebe oba bali mu bifo Anthony General ne banne bonoonye judiciary ya Uganda kubanga bo bakola byabwe bagasa na biyamba General Museveni so se biyamba judiciary yonna so se biyamba law society so se biyamba banna Uganda. Tera constitution tekyagobererwa bo bakola byabwe ebibagasa nga abantu bo bakola byabwe bafunamu nenga tebakola bigasa ggwanga lyaffe nga bwe kyandibadde era nga bwe kirina okuba. Nolwekyo agamba yazze n'enkuba mpya era agenda kubikyusa nti kubanga Uganda we tuli twesibye nnyo mu mateeka tusibye mu nkola z'abakolone tuziremeddemu tuzivaamu tosobola kuteekawo kyaffe nga kifiirika nga kinna Uganda engeri tuwozaamu emisango n'engeri gye tuwe expressingamu okulaba nga tutereeza ensi yaffe okusinga okwesiba ku byabali ate nga bifuuna obufu era awo asinzidde agamba agenda kukikola era olumuwa woofiisi ya Law Society egenda kukyukira ddala ebintu byonna bikyukira ddala mu Uganda olabe nga tumuvinga tugenda mu maaso. Kale mbagala nnyo agamye nti no tuddayo eri ku maanyi g'abantu people power bw'akyogedde nti ayagala kugizza kotebere ku maanyi g'abantu so si ku maanyi ga mukulembeze General Museveni nga buli olwaleero nolwekyo ekyo ekimuleese okulaba nga obuyinza bwa kooti buddeyo mu maanyi g'abantu so si mu mikono gya General Museveni nga bwe buli leero ng'ayita mu kiri wa kiwanuka Anthony General. Omukama abakuume tujja kuba tuddamu mweraba.